welcome back to Riding the Pine. This is a review of Game 38 of the 2020-21 Chicago Blackhawks season. Tonight, the Blackhawks fell in regulation to the Carolina Hurricanes by a score of 4-3. But before we get to the review tonight, if you do me a really big favor and hit that like button down below, helps us out with the algorithm on YouTube. That'll get us out to more people that are searching the interwebs for Blackhawks content. So again, if you could like the video down below, hit that thumbs up, that would be great. Also subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already, and hit that notification bell so we have to come looking for you. You don't have to come looking for us. You'll know exactly when we upload. Just like this afternoon, unfortunately, I had a dental procedure yesterday, so I was unable to get the review for Tuesday's game out until this afternoon. So if you don't want to be sitting there wondering where our content is, again, hit that notification bell and you will know when we upload. And with that, I will throw it over to Joe. Joe, quite the kick in the nuts tonight.
Yeah, I mean that was just. I mean, before we even came on, it's so frustrating because Kubalik had a chance there to win it, and with 40 seconds left, he gets robbed by Reimer, and then they come right back down, and some just horrible puck luck. It seems like yet again, where DeHaan blocks the shot, it changes the speed of the shot, and then it's kind of fooled Lankinen, but he got his leg out, and then the puck goes right in front of the net, and Fast is there to bury it. So it's just, yeah, that's a frustrating loss. And like we talked about before we came on, especially with Nashville and Columbus both losing in regulation tonight, it was, we were 30 seconds away from getting a point on both of them. And instead we get none, now making Saturday's game against Nashville all the more bigger.
Yeah, and I think for me, the frustrating part was kind of the coaching decisions. I mean, you brought it up. A lot of bad bounces, unlucky bounces, bad puck luck. Seems like they've had that quite often this season. But I think for me, as I was saying, I think the coaching decisions were just lackluster, and I don't know if it's, I don't want to say uninformed, but not well thought out potentially. And it's the same stuff that we've been already harping on almost every game. There was another game tonight where they were terrible in the first period, were dominated again. I don't think they've had a good first period for, it seems, about 2 weeks now. I think since they were in Dallas. So
Yeah.
maybe even longer than 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's become a big alarming trend right now too. Is these sluggish and just slow coming out of the gate kind of starts that we're just letting the other team dictate the pace for the majority of the first period.
Yeah, that's, when like we are trying to make the playoffs, are we not? Like we're trying to win games here. You can't win games if you're getting smoked the first period most nights. So that's a coaching thing. I don't, you got a fairly young team. The average age is probably about 25. Um, I don't know what's going on there. And then, John Dietz again asked about, to himself, I suppose, was musing, just kind of like Mark Lazarus was back on Tuesday. Why is David Camp still on the second line? And, as he tweeted out, I think David Camp has 2 goals in his last 66 games. Like, did you need more? To, like, if a question is to why is he there? And then, finally in the third period, Colleton changed the lines, put Camp back on the fourth line. And lo and behold, the Blackhawks scored 2 goals. And they looked at more. They could have had more, as Joe was alluding to, with the chance from Kane to Kubalik at the end there. But even with that, they just looked better. There was more jump. There was more, moving around. Everything just seemed to flow a little bit better. And the power play they had, they took how long as soon as Doc came back, we were talking about getting rid of Soderberg off that top unit. They took Soderberg off the top unit tonight. That top unit immediately started to have a lot of good moments there in the third period. And then I think they dropped Soderberg down to the second unit. That unit even had good looks. Kurashev had quite a few looks on that power play. And, I was sitting here looking just now. Kurashev played what, 8 minutes tonight again? Like,
Yeah, I think even someone I saw made a comment, that his minutes dropped off tonight, pretty significantly.
well, I think he's been playing about 10 minutes a game. So I would say
I don't
that's
know,
a
maybe it was like the second period or something, like where he had only had like normally he gets like I don't know if it was like 4 or 5. I think he only had like 2 or 3 minutes of versus his normal like 8 or I can't remember what the tweet had said. I don't even remember who tweeted it, but I thought I saw somebody comment on his ice time.
yeah, 8 minutes and 13 seconds tonight. He was a -1, but I don't know. It just I mean, we've talked about it ad nauseum, the ice time management, the line, construction, the just like even on the power play, I believe it was the power play at the end, Kubalik was on it. Now Kubalik has the best at this point. I guess I'd say more than Kane. Kubalik probably has the best shot on the team. So knowing that, why is Kubalik at the top of the point? He's also your worst defensive forward. Why is he there? And he almost coughed off the puck. That's why I brought it up. Because he's up at the highest, like right at the top of the blue line. Kubalik should be down in the circle somewhere, one of the circles, or the slot, somewhere around in there, not all the way up at the point. So I don't know, like if they just don't know where they're supposed to be, like if that's like a hockey IQ problem and a learning moment, or if they don't know their system that they're in. Like that was just little things like that I noticed. It's like why is your best shooter all the way up there?
Yeah. And I
Like,
mean, and don't and we, with the Hawks power play too. I mean, I know at least they had a good amount of chances, especially the one they got. Was it in the third? Was it in the third period? There
say that again.
was there the power play in the third period.
Yeah, that power play that I'm talking about, was that their only one? No,
I think so. But
they
it would, yeah, where the one I don't know who it was interfered with Carpenter, and they had quite a good number of chances on that power play
yeah,
to
so
get a goal.
the Hawks had 3 tonight.
Okay,
And I mean, again, we talked about that last game. That's the difference in the game. They went 0 for 3 on the power play. If they
yeah.
score on the power play, they win the game probably. On if they scored on that power play anyway.
But yeah, it's just and again, it's hard because that's a tough way to lose. But now you got to really pick yourself up because now, I mean, I guess every game, like they keep saying, is pretty much a must win from here on out if you want to make the playoffs. But I mean, at the very least, you got to try to find a way to get points. And
Honestly, they're in about as good of a scenario as they could have been in.
right,
That they are going. It's been a week now, basically, since we've played Nashville, since we were tied, and we're still tied. And Nashville has just lost once. It's the first loss in what, 8 games now?
yeah, I think so. Yeah,
And the Hawks have their destiny in their own hands on Saturday. And I can tell you this much: if they don't fucking come out in that first period and play, they're gonna lose. Because Nashville's gonna go, all right, well, we can throw the TKO punch now, because the Hawks are like, let's face it, the Hawks are on a downward spiral. Yes, they won Tuesday, but that was more due to Kevin Lankinen than it was anything else. And their two wins against Florida were Kevin Lankinen. So if they come out slow again, they're going to be in some serious trouble.
Right. And I think they have to know that. They truly do, because you, like I said, you got what, this meeting Saturday and three more with the Predators, and those four games could really determine whether or not we're going to be in the postseason. So, I mean, the key is to win games with anybody close or behind you or chasing you, or maybe even a little bit in front of you. So we'll see how they come out. Hopefully they can, come out strong and have a lot better first period than we've seen the last, what, 4 or 5 games. So
Yeah. I mean, give them they. I mean, give them credit. They came back from a down 2-0 and then down 3-2, and even that 3-2 goal was tough. I mean, I had tweeted out, they had to tighten the sphincter muscles up, and about 20 seconds after I tweeted that, they gave up the lead again, and they came back, and
so
this
are
was a
we are we in essence, we're blaming this loss on you tonight? No, I'm just kidding.
oh well no well I just knew it was coming, but no, well, because they still scored three, right? So that wasn't it. But the first goal, there was a penalty to Boquist that wasn't called. Kubalik had a turnover, yeah, but that was Kubalik does a lot worse than that on a nightly basis, so I'm not really holding that against him. Um, or to me, that wasn't like a, oh my god, he made a turnover. Um, but and then unlucky bounces, like the one that went in off Lankinen skate, because Lankinen was sliding back into the net, pushed it in. That was that third goal. What is the second goal? I'm trying to remember now, because Trocheck was the roofed one. That was the first goal.
Yeah. What was the second one?
That was the goal to start the period. Wasn't there another turnover? I'm trying to remember in the second period.
Yeah, that was no Fogel. That was where the shot, I think, went off the boards and came right to him. I think when there was a shot that went wide and it came right in front of Fogel, and he put it behind Lincoln. Pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like I said, you got to give them some credit for coming back. It's just their starts are terrible, and like it's a trend. And to me, it's coaching. They don't come out to play to start the game, and then like when they're in a close game, so it's either they tie the game or they take the lead and late in the game. And in both instances, within like the first 2 minutes afterwards, the lead's gone or the game's no longer tied. That's a routine thing with this team. And that needs to be rectified. And I thought Kalanick played well again tonight, had a beautiful pass on Kubalik's goal. And I seen some people were trying to blame him on that third goal. And it's like, yeah, but he shouldn't even be on the ice there. You're almost at the 10-minute mark of the third period, I believe, somewhere around there, and you just tied the game at 2. Why is he on the ice in that position? It's his third game in the fucking league. Why is he out there at that point? Like most of these kids that are playing in that sixth spot play like 10 minutes a game. I don't know. What did he play tonight? Let me see. Well, he played almost 16 minutes. So they really increased his ice time. So they must like him because he's playing a hell of a lot more than Bodan or Mitchell were. And he, like I said, he had a nice game, I thought, but I wouldn't have had him on the ice there because
Yeah.
you just tied the game, and you couldn't afford to give up the lead again. And of course they did. And then they were able to tie it again uh, from the beautiful work of Hagel, uh, or not Hagel, but Murphy on that throwing the puck in and then the redirect by Strome. But yeah, I don't know. This was a weird game. There were weird bounces. The coaching decisions were weird on both sides of the ice. I can't believe they didn't challenge that second goal for the Hawks. That that was
Oh, the one where they were offside almost.
yeah. So it was the Doc to Hagel goal in the 5 minutes into the third or 6 minutes into the third, where they had tied the game, and there was a question whether Doc was on site or not. And it was hard to tell because the puck was in the air. And I don't know if Brendan Moore just didn't see it, didn't want to lose his timeout in a close game, or what it was, but they let it go. Uh, yeah, weird decisions. Also, the commentary. What do you think of Eddie going after Reimer for looking at
Well, I was kind
Slavin?
of confused. Yeah, like I mean, he was just looking at him. I don't know. Maybe he just I didn't think it didn't look like anything malicious that Reimer was looking at his defenseman
I
like,
thought that was
what the hell
like
are you
a.
doing?
I thought that was unprofessional, old Eddie. Like I even if there was something there, why are you? It's not your team. Why are you bringing it up? And like, I just felt like you're insinuating a lot right there, dude. Like, just because he's looking over at Slavin across the boards, and was the like everybody was over there. Slavin, Kubalik, and I think the official. All three guys were over on that end wall, and it's like, what? I don't know. I just thought that was kind of a low blow from Eddie that was not necessary on the broadcast, but like to me it was. I was thinking about and they've done that, like Foley going off on Karpatsev back in the late 90s or early 2000s. I can't remember when it was, that legendary rant. But it was like, that's one of your players, right? That's not one of the opposing teams. I don't know. I thought that was kind of BS from him, but anyway, not that I'm defending Reimer if he was pissed at Slavin, because Slavin's one of the best, defensemen in the league. But I don't know. That was just, it was a weird tangent for him to go on, I thought. Um, just unnecessary, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, Doc picked up his second assist on that Hagel goal. Good to see from him. He seems to be settling in. Strome scored again, second game in a row. He was also 56% at the dot in the limited draws that he took. Good to see there. Um, Liked what I saw from Kalanick again. I thought Dahan had another bad game, but I what can I say? And what's interesting too about Dahan is I'm noticing it's starting to permeate with the rest of the fan base. And I don't know if that's because everybody assumes that he's on his way out and that he just, I mean, his demeanor doesn't help. Like when he's done his interviews, he looks agitated, like he wants to be somewhere else. And he's gone on a blocking, like I don't know if he's triggered easily or what, but he's gone on a blocking spree on Twitter, and anybody that even mentions him gets blocked. If they point out that he screwed up. So
Who is this?
Dahan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So like I know our account is blocked, Sharad's blocked. Several other people have been blocked, I know of, that I won't name, but yeah, like just because they said, yeah, he's gonna, you know, that one's gonna stick in his head for a while or whatever. Um, But yeah, like tonight, I was before that goal, he just whiffed on a clear at the blue line, just straight. And the puck was, he took the puck off the boards and just whiffed on dumping it in. Went right to their guy and they started out. And it was, like I said, I think there's like 4.5 minutes left in the game. But, and it just seems like pucks are always going off him into the net, or he's missing his guy, not clearing the crease. And I know he blocks a lot of shots, and that's great. But at a certain point, to me, it's just like Kalynuk is proving that he can play in the NHL. We know Bodan can play in the NHL, and Mitchell can play in the NHL. So those are already three of our prospects, and like Dahan is just taking minutes away from them at this point. So it is what it is. I would just prefer to see the kids play, uh, and let them develop. Um, they signed. People could see it. They signed Isaac Phillips, who was their 5th-round pick, from the Jamaican kid. Yeah, man, that was horrible. Um, but yeah, I think he's the first Jamaican to be drafted. I think.
Yeah, I
Um,
think so. I think you're right.
I mean, he's. Let's be real. He's not coming from Jamaica. He's Jamaican Canadian or Canadian Jamaican. But um, yeah, they signed him. He's been in Rockford, played fairly well. I think he had about 6 points or so in a dozen games, maybe. And look, they've got all these other prospects coming, and it's just like at some point something's got to give here. And even if Dahan's gone, something's still got to give. And to me, it's just like you got to see more of these kids before you can make a decision as to who stays and who goes. And you're just, you're taking ice time away from them right now. But it is what it is. So we'll see. Um, Boquist was a -2 tonight. I didn't notice him.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. He didn't make too much noise for me tonight.
Yeah, but he was a -2. So I don't know. I don't really like him on the power play, by the way. Like, I don't know. He just hasn't been doing it for me there lately. Like, I don't
Well, I
know.
think he's just more of a he's more of a quarterback. He just, he could bring the puck up and he can set guys up, but I mean, he's not, he doesn't have like a shot, you know what I mean, you know, to to generate offense. I mean, it's just more of a setup. He's a good man to take the puck up and get our, power play set up in motion.
I know what I mean. And to be fair, Keith was -2 tonight as well. So, um, yeah, I mean, I don't really have much more to add than that. Other than that, I mean, we haven't really talked about the goal at the end of the game with 29 seconds left. Um, that kind of kick to the nuts that I referenced when we first started.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people were complaining that Suter lost his guy, didn't get the check. But I mean, to me, that just seems like, again, unlucky bounces. Dahan blocks the shot. It still gets through, hits Lankinen in the leg, the pad, and it bounces. The rebound bounces out, and it's a wide open net. I mean, the guy that scored is not a guy that scores. I mean, Jesper Fast, it was his 5th of the season. So I don't know. I it's just kind of one of those, like, you know, when it rains, it pours kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, if there's any bright side, it's that Columbus and Nashville both lost in regulation, so there's no harm, no foul. But
Right.
you
And
know,
well, I mean, on an individual level, you got to be happy with Doc and Strome, both of them coming back from injury. Both have looked really good since coming back. They both have points. in consecutive games now. Strome goals, Doc assists. Kalinuk, congratulations to him. I don't know if we said it, but first point in the NHL tonight. Congrats to Strome as well. He scored his 100th point with the Blackhawks. I believe it was the 116th of his career. He had 16 points, I believe, with the Coyotes before the trade for Nick Schmaltz. So, yeah, a lot of firsts tonight. Congratulations to go out, even though it was a tough loss. I did see they had Slavin's brother, who they just signed, was also in the building tonight. Um, that was interesting. I don't know how that got through NHL COVID protocol because he is not on the active roster.
Oh,
So
but he was in the United Center.
yeah, to watch his brother play with Carolina.
Wow.
Um, he was wearing a mask, but he was in a press box, and
Was he
I
by
don't.
himself?
Well, probably with the team, I'd imagine, or other people in the org.
Yeah, I didn't know if because of the protocols, maybe if you all right, well, if they told him like since he hasn't quarantined or whatever, that you could watch the game, but you got to be by yourself.
Well, no, I mean, he's been quarantined, right? Because he's played with Rockford and he scored his first pro goal the other day. But it was interesting because, like, you would just think since, like, he's on an AHL contract, right? His NHL deal doesn't start till next season. So there's no way he can play in the NHL this year. So I would think with the COVID protocols, you wouldn't allow him into the building. You wouldn't think. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
what? But then you know what? Then again, with some of the arenas having fans, I guess maybe it doesn't matter. I just wonder if he's allowed in the locker room areas. I guess that might be what I guess would be the thing. Maybe he isn't, but um, I know Slavin, like when you're on the road, you're not, you have to go straight back to the hotel room after the game. Or in this case, I imagine Carolina's probably hopping on a plane and going wherever to their next city. But um, yeah, I just thought that was kind of weird. I wondered if he would show up, but I don't know. I don't talk to his. I know I went to school with their older sister, but I don't talk to her anymore. I guess I should. I could have been like, "Hey, do you know if so and like?" But no. Yeah, I don't know. Just interesting. But yeah, tough loss. But as you said, Joe, kind of no harm, no foul. Nashville was defeated by Dallas. However, Dallas is now in the thick of things again. So your games with them are going to be huge too.
Because how many games in hand do they still have? Dallas
uh,
looks like. Is it still four?
I was thinking so. It's, yeah, 4. So
Okay.
that's 8 points. The Hawks are up 5. So yeah, that's a huge 2 games right there. Because if Dallas wins all those games, they're up 3 points on the Hawks. So that would not be ideal. Uh,
Well, I mean, but that is got to be a tough thing though to win. 4 in a row or four. Of whatever to make up those games, but
yeah, and I mean they're 3-3-4. So at that pace, if they stick on that, it won't matter. It's the 8-2 that Nashville's gone on. That's the thing. And then the Hawks have gone 3-7. That's the turnaround right there that's allowed for this predicament. But uh even Columbus being 3 points back, I mean, you got 2 games with them left. That's 4 points. So I mean, the Hawks could conceivably end up finishing 7th in the division
right.
if the games go south the rest of the way here. Um, and again, wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing because he'd be getting a probably would they be a top 10 pick if they were seventh? Let me see here. Well, it's hard to say without knowing.
Well, they'd be in the lottery, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean they'll be in the lottery provided they miss the playoffs, but um, and I don't know what the odds are for that, but um, and by odds I mean each spot outside the playoffs gets a certain percentage and so many balls into the lottery system. But I mean, they would take some doing for them. New Jersey, I don't think. Well, New Jersey's got 4 games in hand. That would be pretty hard for the Devils to catch them, even so, because they're still 7 points back. Uh, yeah, man, but everywhere else, the Hawks could end up with one of the fourth or fifth worst record in the league because if you assume that Columbus, Dallas, and Nashville finish ahead, LA, so the teams behind the Hawks right now are Arizona, LA, San Jose. Arizona's got 2 games in hand and they're 2 points behind. So that's a 4 point difference. LA has 4 games in hand and is 5 points back. San Jose has 3 games in hand and is 5 points back. And we already went over the Devils. And then Vancouver has a game in hand and is 4 points back. Calgary, same thing. So, you know, if the Hawks continue to post a 3-7 record, kind of the next 18 games, it's conceivably possible that they could finish in the like with the fifth worst record. So they could definitely be in that lotto scenario still.
Yeah, that's well. I guess yeah, we'll see what happens and how they finish. But
Yeah. So Buffalo will have the worst record. Ottawa is tied with Anaheim, and Detroit's 1 point ahead. So those are going to be what was it? One, two. So those 4 teams are probably going to be at the bottom, and then New Jersey. So I guess the Hawks could be as low as sixth. They'll be somewhere in sixth to 10th potentially.
okay.
But yeah, if things go south as they look like they are. um so yeah, I guess not the worst thing overall, right? But looking
Yeah, just
ahead,
gotta get them. Gotta get them Saturday.
yeah, so do you see Mitchell getting back into the lineup on Saturday?
I would like to see him back in. Yeah, but I don't know if they like what they currently have. But I would think after the loss tonight, there's probably going to be some changes, and I'd like to see Mitchell get back in there.
Yeah, I think I'd like to see Mitchell back in. I do think Lankinen starts just because he's your starter and it's a must-win game, obviously. Um, if they start Subban, boy, that'll be
Gosh,
something.
shock.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but knowing Colleton, but and I swear to God, if David Camp is back on the second line again,
Yeah, really. I hear you.
but yeah, so as we said, tough loss tonight. Hawks fall 4-3 to Carolina. Lose in the final 29 seconds. Big game Saturday as fourth place and the tiebreaker for the final playoff spot in the Central Division will be on the line. Whoever wins that game will have sole possession. So huge, huge game Saturday. But that's going to wrap this game review up. Um, so, again, as we always say at the end of our reviews, keep doing what you're doing, everybody. Stay safe. Jesus, get tired. Uh, stay safe. Wear your mask. Take care of your friends and family. Get your vaccine if you can get it. I believe I don't know if it's statewide yet, but I believe at least in Rock Island County, close to my neck of the woods here in the Quad Cities, anybody 16 and up can now get the vaccine. Um, do you know if that's the way it is up around you, Joe? Or
Yeah, it's still 65 and up, and I believe until April 12th. Then
okay,
anybody 16 and up can get the vaccine.
yeah. Well, I mean, check with your vaccination centers. I know my accountant was telling me, I believe some one of the centers here, the test sites, whatever you call them, is now giving it to anybody. He got his, I think he's our age, and he got his scheduled for next week. So if you're wanting to get one, call around. And again, as I've said too, they also expire. So in some cases, you can get them even though you're not in the demographic that they're supposed to be given to, just because they don't want them to go to waste. So keep your eye out on that if you're looking for them. And then hang in there. I know a tough loss, but the team is on the rise. We know that. We've seen a lot of, good development from our rookies this season. A lot of positives, even though we're having some tough trouble here this last month. Um, but until Sunday morning, guys, and next time with our review of Saturday, let's go Hawks.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks again for listening, everybody. And yeah, we'll talk to you after the game on Saturday.
All right, everybody. Have a good night or good morning, I guess. You'll be hearing this.
Yes.
It's good night for us.
Right. Good morning for all of you.